Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get to the video session. Here we go. Okay, so welcome back to another video. This one's gonna be a quite exciting one. Basically, this video is about Intel HD and video cards. What about them? What about this integrated and video cards? I'm here to tell you today that you shouldn't go for CPU too much. You should aim more at the GPU. Yeah. But I do say one thing. When we have these integrated GPUs like Intel HD, they always are gonna be on the motherboards, aren't they? They have chipsets, and in them chipsets, they're built in, aren't they? You will always get one. Yeah? You will get one because you really need one. If you don't have these Intel HDs, nothing will come on the monitors. Yeah. If we just have a hardware, right, and no Intel HD, you won't have anything. Let me explain a bit more in detail. If you look on your motherboard, well, you don't have to look inside your computer to see the motherboard. On your back of your computer or rear of your computer, what do you see? You will see a 15-pin VGA cable. That VGA cable on your motherboard. Now understand this. There will be two ports, but whenever you're gonna buy a PC with Intel HD, there's only gonna be one port. What was on about two ports? As I did mention, just two ports right now. When we have the one port, that is telling you there is an Intel HD in there. It's always gonna be in there anyway. You don't have to ask me. When you're gonna buy a computer, right? Look on the specification sheet when you're in the shop. When you see the computer on the shelf, especially desktop PCs, whatever you're going to buy or a laptop, look for the part where it says GPU. Sometimes they will have two. Laptops have two anyway. Desktop normally will have one. Oh, they can have two as well. And on there, it's gonna say Intel HD. Yeah, that will be the VGA port. I was mentioning about two of them. We know what on the top of your motherboard is a VGA cable. Oh, sorry, VGA port. That is Intel HD. And at the bottom, So if you got a tower or something, about this level, something down here, it's gonna be the VGA, yeah, or on this side, whatever, yeah. And if you look below here, you're approaching down to the video card, the below. There's gonna be another slot there, yeah, and on that slot is another port, and that is going to be your video card. Like Nvidia, from Nvidia video cards, yeah. That's gonna be at the bottom. So whenever you want to use one of them, you will have to disable the integrated, because if you've got a video card in there, you don't need to use Intel HD anymore. Why would you want to use that? Because if you got a video card which is higher anyway, I'll give you an example. It's a very top example. This is Intel HDs aren't that powerful. Get it from me. Once you buy a video card, even just for £80 or £100, it's gonna be full HD in there. Might as well do full HD. Yeah, we'll actually do that. Well, it's only £80 card or £100 card. You're not gonna have to do high settings on it. Low medium setting will be the best thing for that thing to play games and all that kind of thing. So there are two in there. There are two. One at the top, one at the bottom. That's how you find out what's in your computer on the rear of your machine. You should always disable the Intel HD, because if you are putting the video card yourself, yeah, and once you disable it, your new video card will take in place, and you can start using that. Also, it's going to deliver good graphics. It's a video card, isn't it? You are spending extra money on it, so it's going to be better. Okay, start the video I was mentioning that you should be aiming for the GPU, not CPU. But in terms of Intel HD, you can't focus on the GPU. No, you can't do that, because it's actually fixed onto the motherboard, isn't it? Into the chipset. You cannot change that. So whatever motherboard you buy and whatever Intel HDs comes with that motherboard, you have to stick with it, because you can't remove it or place it with a high one. You can't buy them from the shops anyway. Oh my god, that's so funny. You won't have to buy them. Okay? I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but you can't actually buy these. These are placed on the motherboard. Okay? So remember that. For in terms of Intel HD, you have to stick with that. Now, what did I mean that? By you should focus more on the GPU, but you can't remove the Intel HD. Basically, this method only works with video cards. Video cards. If we just look at the Intel Core i3, yeah, Intel Core i3 has many video cards that you can use with. Yeah, when we look at the NVIDIA GTX video cards, we should only use 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th video cards with i3 core. Bear that in mind. And when you use these cards, each CPU has a lineup of cards. So does i3 core. If you are interested in these video cards, you do not need to buy another CPU. You only need to go for another CPU if you want to go higher than the 8th series card. I'll give you another example on the i3 core. If you have a GTX 650, yeah, and you want bit better graphics and gaming performance, what do you do there? But you're not looking for a huge leap, you can still stay on the i3 core. So what you do there, you can go on a site GTX 750 or GTX 780. Yeah, you can buy one of them. Obviously, that card is better. If you had a GTX 780, that is better than the GTX 650 anyway. Better graphics, yeah, and gaming performance. Yeah, and your games will play better on it. That's how the system works. You only change the CPU if you really wanted to go to a 9th series of card. Then the i3 core would be useless. Then you will need to go on the i5 core. Can you see what's happening? There are a lot of cards on each CPU. There might be a lot of people, just interested in 7th and 8th series gaming cards. And they already know what they're going to achieve and the benchmarks. And if they're happy with that, they can still keep that same CPU. Because when you're going to think of changing the CPU, you will need to change the motherboard. Yeah. Because if that motherboard can't use i5 core, then you're in trouble. Then you need to buy a motherboard which uses the i5 core. Now that's going to go really expensive. Because when you start buying like motherboards, you have to pay for that. And when you're going to buy a CPU, you got to pay for that. And if you want to buy a thermal paste, you got to pay for that. And if you want to buy a CPU fan, you got to pay for that. You need these 4 things, right, in order to go to i5 core. If you're a person who don't want to spend too much money, right, then you should stay on the same CPU. I think a lot of people are already owning the i3 cores, 4160s, whatever they are. You should stay on that. And you can buy 6th, 7th, and 8th series cards on it. Yeah. And also, if you only got 4 GB of RAM, I highly recommend that the minimum RAM you should have is 8 GB. If you're only going to buy a NVIDIA GTX 750 or 780, and 8 GB RAM. That won't cost too much. That's gonna be pretty cheap if you do it that way. So I do recommend you should do like that. It's pretty cheap, because if you are not into the 9 series card, you do not need to go on i5 core. When people tend to want higher cards, that's when you need a new CPU. You don't just go and buy a CPU just for these bit lower cards. Stick around with the same cards, and that's it. You're done, really. You don't need to go too high on them, on the CPUs and all that. And your bank balance will be alright. You won't need to spend too much. So that's why I do say that you should be more focused on the GPUs, not the CPU. This only method works with video cards, not the integrated GPUs, by the way. So you can do that with that. Yeah. It depends what video card you're after. Right. And work on them lines. A lot of people do really silly things when they buy cars like GTX 780. They go for i5 cores. You don't need to do that. You don't need an i5 core to do that. Not for cars like that. You just stick around i3 core. i3 core can handle them very well. Yes, we do know the i3 core is not a gaming CPU. It doesn't matter if it's not, but it can handle all the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th series cards really well. And you could game on it. There should be no problem with that. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So in terms of when you buy a motherboard, you get an Intel HT. You can't remove them. You can't replace them with new ones. But if you have a CPU what you already have and you don't want to spend too much money, you can always change and replace video cards. It's the best way to go, really. And that's how you do it. So you don't keep on changing CPUs and buying motherboards. You don't keep on doing that. You should be focusing more on the video cards. Yeah, whatever CPU you got, because the CPU nowadays, the i3, i5, i7, and that's how you do it. And it's also the best way to go. So I hope you guys understand this. Give your likes, comments, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye from now.